Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Xtra Bytes. Today is kind of special for me. Instead of giving you the brief introduction about who the person is, let me share a little story, small story. I don't exactly remember the year, but it would have been, I think, 2008 or 2009, somewhere. I had been to attend a photo walk. And there was this handsome chap clicking photos of all the participants who were there in that photo walk. And he happened to click mine as well in action. And he did not, I think he did not share it then, and then he shared, he did not show it to me then, and then he shared on Facebook and tagged me or something like this. And that is how my first interaction with this person started. And eventually we started interacting, and I think interactions became quite frequent. And I also realized that he has started getting into, or he was already into wedding photography, but he disclosed that he's into wedding photography. But then his journey, I have been witness to his journey from those days to now. It's been a phenomenal and very, very inspiring journey. And so, allow me to welcome RAMIT BATRA. So, Ramit ji, welcome on this platform of exploring light and sharing your extra bytes with us today. And so, before I talk about you further, so how about you sharing or somehow confirming what I said was right, or I needed some correction on that?
First of all, thank you so much, Desi ji, for taking time out and having me here. So you were quite right. We, I think, met in 2007, 2008 during a photo walk, if I remember correctly. This was, I think, one of the tomb photo walks.
Yeah.
And I had just shifted from Bombay that time. I was working with UTV and I was an assistant director that time. And I just shifted to sort of have a photo exhibition in Delhi. You know, I wanted to sort of spend time with like-minded people. So what better to sort of find photographers than a photo walk? So you know, those were the times when we would get up early and actually.
Yeah.
And that is when I met you and a lot of other interesting people. And I think you remember correctly, I did not show anyone the photographs, and I posted all those pictures on Flickr. That time it used to be very popular that time. So that was the journey from you know, from when you know me as you know, as a starting or a kiddie photographer to starting weddings from the next year. I think we interacted in the next year as well when we did a photo workshop with Canon together. So, so you know, it's been almost a 12-13-year journey from that time, and I think you're one of the first photographers that I have been in touch with. It's such a crazy long journey, but I'm so glad we are here, and I'm so glad you remember this episode.
It's almost a vivid memory because those days were amazing days. And talking about the workshop, yes, I missed that point sharing with everybody, because that is important milestone, and it is important because that was the one and the only workshop that we did. So I was already into workshops with Canon, and then I had almost started, and that is when I wanted to do one wedding photography workshop as well. So I contacted him, and he was gracious enough to accept, and together we did this wedding photography workshop at Canon Lounge in, if I remember it right, in Gurgaon, MES Mall, Gurgaon. And after that, we did not do at our level, company level, we did not do any wedding photography workshop at all. And so that remained the one and the only workshop that we did at Exploring Light, and that was with Ramit. And so amazing. So welcome again, Ramit, and tell me, what is your style of photography?
So
You would want to show something first?
I was kind of expecting that you'll ask me, so I have prepared a small. I'm just gonna share the screen and run this. Let me know if you can hear it.
Wow, that was quite something. I think we've had so many sessions, but we've never had something like this. This kind of start we've never seen. And so I have thought in my mind that if I read something that 10 lakh something images.
So we have kind of delivered more than 10 lakh images in last.
That is more than the life of the shutter of 3 cameras.
10 lakh would be, I think, 5.
5 cameras. My goodness, that's kind of huge. And 10 lakh, man, that is crazy. And so anyways, we will have some fun in this session. So let's begin with some serious thing. Tell everybody what is your style of photography, contemporary, candid that you say, but what exactly is it?
So as we used to define it, we would call it contemporary photography, which kind of evolved to what our style is now. I particularly combined with what the families are looking for, the kind of coverage, the documentation, more of photojournalistic work. So it's like a mixed bag right now of everything that a family or a person requires in terms of wedding photography needs, in terms of event documentation needs. If you're looking at, just to define what kind of images that a person gets from us, they are vibrant, larger than life, very colorful. From the first day, we have always had a very colorful, very oversaturated.
You're not very audible. There is some.
Can you hear me? Let me just switch the mic if you want. Okay, let me try an external mic if that works better. Is it better right now?
I think still little muffled.
Check. Is this better?
Yeah.
This is better?
No.
No? So this is the external microphone. If you feel this is better, or I will switch to the internal microphone now. Do you feel this is better?
You were earlier on internal microphone?
I was always on internal microphone.
But now when you said this sentence was good, but then it is shifting, it's wavering kind of.
So I think what probably we need to do is we need to mute your audio when I'm talking, maybe, or I think.
Can do that. Okay, let me mute and then you talk.
Acha, ठीक है. Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can, if it's clear. Okay. So, like I said, if we are talking about defining the kind of photography that we do at the moment, it is vibrant. It is larger than life. We like to document images which give a larger scope, which give a very magnanimous feel to our client, and it is true to self. We are not very big fans of posing and faking the picture. We like to create the picture as it is. So what we call it vibrant, real moments, and a mix of documentary and photojournalistic style is, the kind of mixed bag that I do right now. Jasid, you are on mute right now. You have to unmute.
All right. That's kind of interesting to know. And I've been mingling with a lot of wedding photographers over a period of years. And one misconception that most guys have is that candid means 70-200, shooting at 200 mm, shooting at times even at 300 mm. Right. What is your take on that?
See, for us, candid could be anything. Candid could be, like you said, 70-200, or it could be 35 or 24. That actually doesn't really define the candid nature of a picture. For us, candid is real moments. We want to capture candid photography, but you know, a lot of people don't really know what is candid photography at the moment. When especially when we are talking to our clients, they are like, candid wali photo lena. You know, so their definition of candid wali photo is, you know, you're asking them to pose, and there is a specific way in which the picture has to be done, and they want to make it look like it's not posed, you know, more like planned candid. So we do not sort of you know, kind of force or push our clients to that. We generally like to keep it real. Even if we are doing a pre-wedding shoot, we tell our clients that, you know, we can give you a moment, or we can give you a space to work in, or a canvas to work in, but we will not tell you कि आप हाथ यहाँ रखो, आप मुंह इधर देखो और ऐसे करो. We are not those kind of photographers. There are very popular photographers in India right now who do that, you know, to the exact dot कि आपकी eyebrow भी वहाँ पे होनी चाहिए और आपका face हल्का सा ऐसा होना चाहिए. We don't do that. We like to capture airy movements of our clients. We like to capture them, you know, when they are laughing, having fun. If they are giving a kiss, I want it to be genuine and not like, अच्छा आप उनके कान में जाके कुछ बोलो and, you know, we'll take a picture and it will look like you're kissing. So we generally, you know, don't do that. So eventually 90% of our pictures that come out are candid pictures. They are actually true candid pictures. Maybe those 10% are the moments in which the client has asked us that, you know, it's a beautiful backdrop, can you take a nice picture of us? So we ask them to be there and we pose them there. But right now in the industry, I think from the last 2-3 years, the big misconception about candid photography is 70-200 nikal ke, you know, take a long shot, or putting them in a pose is a candid picture. So I think both of these are wrong. That is not what candid photography is. Candid photography is capturing the moment to its true self, and that is what we also like to do.
Yeah, that's interesting and wonderful answer, because I thought that this is the right platform where we can actually clarify what exactly candid is. So anyways, we will continue talking about these technicalities in between as well. But first, so yeah, we met sometime in 2007 or 2008. So what were you doing before that, and how did your interest in photography generate, and why did you decide to take a wedding as a genre? Why not something else? And yeah.
So around 2007, 2008, when, like you said, when we met, that time I had, so I was managing an educational institution that time. I was a GM there. I had just come out of UTV as an assistant director. So there was a lot going on in my life that time. And I used to be in Bombay. And what was happening in my life was I was kind of doing a lot of managerial upper management work while I was doing photography on the back end. So I was very much inclined towards photography. I wanted to pursue photography, but it was like I was stuck in an MBA kind of a job. So I started taking it seriously. I got an opportunity to get featured in a couple of exhibitions in Delhi. So I would, you know, keep coming to Delhi, and I would get hosted in the exhibition and stuff. So all that was happening, and that was the time when, like you said, we met. During that 1 year of getting more serious in photography, getting, you know, taking my passion a little more seriously, I started doing a lot of fashion work. I started shooting a lot of friends, a lot of people who wanted to get into modeling in my circle. I started exploring fine art photography, and I also wanted to do street photography. So I started doing photo walks with a lot of people in the morning. So I was kind of doing all the things. I was exploring, dabbling into all genres of photography. And, you know, somehow I got a break that somebody saw my fashion work and they said, we are getting married and we have seen some beautiful pictures in, you know, what photographers do in the US. They call it an engagement session. Can you do something similar? It'll be like a fashion shoot, but it'll be more of a pre-wedding kind of a shoot. That time, the pre-wedding shoot term was not even there in India.
Not there, yeah.
So I was like, yeah, this sounds interesting. I was in Bombay and I spoke to the couple. We did a lot of pre-production. We got a stylist involved. We did the whole, what they are going to wear, where we are going to shoot. But the whole point came to the fact that they were not able to come out of their wedding. It was just 2 or 3 days away, and the whole planning was going for a toss because they were like, "हमें तो time ही नहीं मिल रहा है. What do we do? It's getting very hectic. अभी नहीं, बाद में ये वो." So literally on the first day of their events in the morning, I was like, "So this is when your wedding starts. So once you get, this, if the function start, you are done. You will be busy. ये shoot तो कभी भी नहीं हो पाएगा. So why don't you actually just sneak out?" So the whole planning went for a toss, and they actually sneaked out for a photo shoot. And the bride had already gotten her mehendi done, so she had mehendi and she was wearing a dress. So we made it themed into a runaway bride kind of a shoot. We made it look like she has actually gotten a suitcase and stuff, and they are ready to sort of leave and run away. And so that impromptu shoot was like my first pre-wedding shoot, which was unlike any fashion shoot, because jo planning kiya tha wo sab chala gaya. It was all very on the go. It was all very candid and fun. So that photo shoot I posted on Facebook. I posted on a lot of platforms, and that is where it got featured in a lot of newspapers, magazines. It got picked up by a lot of portals. That was my break in which I got noticed as a photographer. And that is where I started getting inquiries of people asking, "Hey, we want this shoot, but आप ये shoot के साथ हमारी शादी भी shoot कर लो." So that is how things became more interesting. And I had no experience in wedding photography. So I went back to Delhi. I spent about 6-7 months studying weddings. हमारी family में, friend circle में, जहाँ पे भी I would see a wedding, I would go there. I would watch what the photographers are doing. I would take my camera, see what settings are required. Do I need to upgrade gear? Once I was confident, once I had observed at least 7-8 weddings, I was like, now I can handle it. Then I started taking projects. So that was a journey which sort of led us here.
So, if I understand this right, you were one of the pioneers who started this pre-wedding without even being into wedding?
I would say so. So I was not into wedding photography, and I'm not sure if any, a lot of film photographers were coming to India to do pre-wedding shoots. And I was luckily one of the first few people in India to do it. And that kind of got me the early movers advantage also.
All right, that's interesting. That's interesting. And so once you started getting inquiries, so you were clear in your mind that now is the time to really make the final plunge into wedding, or you're still uncertain that you will still continue exploring different genres and then decide later on?
So Jasiji, I had already spent almost 1 year in exploring different genres of photography. The one which sort of appealed to me the most was portraiture and fashion. I was loving it, but honestly, there was no business that time. I was not earning through fashion photography. So it was great, it was fun, but it was more like a hobby that time. When I got into portraiture and pre-wedding photo shoots, when I started getting serious inquiries, that was my moment whether I wanted to jump into it or whether I wanted to wait and watch. Like I said, when I did that photo shoot, I took another 6-7 months to actually figure out whether I am fit for weddings, whether I'll be able to handle it. Can I actually spend 14-16 hours on my foot and just stand there with a camera? Do I have that much stamina? So all that happened in those 6-7 months when I explored different weddings. So it was not like I got a pre-wedding and I started getting inquiries and I immediately jumped into it. I spent some time understanding weddings, and then I realized that I'm ready for it. Then I took my first wedding, and once I shot the first wedding, it was a total game changer, because it was beautiful. The kind of interactions that happened with the client, the kind of beauty that I was able to capture, it was something that I had not seen or done behind the camera. So that kind of got me hooked. Uske baad to I was like, this is amazing. And if I can make a career out of it, this is going to be crazy.
That's fantastic. And looking back, if you were to get married today, would you like to hire yourself or?
So actually, we when we got married, we actually got our team to shoot a little bit and to capture the fun moments and stuff. So yes, I would love to sort of have somebody who has my kind of a style, who doesn't bother the bride and groom, ki ye karo, wo karo. So I would love to have somebody who has my style of photography to cover our wedding.
Good. So take us through your images. I won't let everybody wait to go through your images.
Yeah.
And so let us get inspired by your wonderful images that you've created.
So I'll show you some of the images which I've recently posted, and we can probably talk a little bit about those. So I'm going to activate screen share. Okay. So let me know if you can see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one of the moments that I captured during the bride getting ready. There is a huge misconception these days about bride getting ready, that people want to do black and white photographs, or they want to do, they want to kill the background, they want to focus on the features, but essentially people are missing out on what is actually happening when the bride is getting ready. So I always like to capture when the bride is getting ready. I want to capture whatever is happening, and if there is anything that I can do to it, if mostly to apne aap hi it just puzzles together. But like this picture, I got the groom who was getting ready in the same room, and he was getting this mala put, and because he's taller than the makeup artist, so he had to sit down. And while all this was happening, I was like, let me just quickly set up my lights and try to capture this moment in a way that I can see the bride and the groom at the same time. So that is what this moment is all about. It could have just been a single picture of the bride and nothing else happening, but getting the groom in the picture and actually getting the light proper at this crucial moment was it was a big high for me. I was like, I nailed it. I got what I wanted, and luckily the bride was doing her own thing with the makeup artist. The groom was busy with his phone. So that just this is kind of what defines my photography. I like the vibrant colors, and I like that it's a real moment and it's not posed or fake.
Now, I think what you said is absolutely right, because images like these are so rich and so much in storytelling that without what is happening around the ambience, it will really look very, very ordinary and almost like a backstage portrait kind of a thing, which will not be interesting at all.
That is true. That is true. So I will take you to another one of my moments. So this one is so if you can see this one is, oops, yeah. So this is from the dance floor, and this has a lot going on. This actually is a moment of the couple's first dance, and this couple is from the States, so they have the first dance is a very big thing for them, and they wanted me to capture it in the best possible way. So they were planning that they'll have a confetti and they'll have a lot of things happening around it. And so when the confetti happened between the camera where I was and between the couple. So if you can, I don't know if you can make out, but the confetti is kind of sharp in terms of clarity, and it is very close to the couple. So sometimes, what happens is the confetti blocks the view, and sometimes you're not able to get it. But here it is very, distinctly visible. Now, this typical shot, I was prepping through two glasses. So I actually had two wine glasses in my hand. So I had a camera, and there were two wine glasses which I was holding. So luckily, with mirrorless cameras, the thing is they're so light you can operate with one hand. So the two reflections that you can see, one on the center top and on the right top, these are there was a little bit of water in the wine glasses, because I think wo pani ke glass the which the waiter was carrying, and on the bottom is where you can actually see the bulb of that wine glass. So this happened, and then there is a light on the left top, if you can see, that is my Godox light, which is kind of visible, which is actually responsible for this flare that I got. So this is what I like to call, again, my style of photography. I am not posing the couple. This is a totally 100% candid moment. The confetti, I did not plan it. It was done by whenever the family decided कि अब confetti करनी है, so they just popped the confetti. My only input in this photograph was to sort of create the foreground with the two wine glasses which I was holding. I got lucky with that drop of water, which gave me a little bit of bouquet on the right and left. And I got lucky with just a hint of my light being visible, which gave me a beautiful flare in this picture. So this is what I thrive to create in my photography. Simple frames को थोड़ा सा complex करने की कोशिश करते हैं, थोड़ी सी layers add करने की कोशिश करते हैं. So this is another one of my favorite images that I really had fun creating.
This is wonderful. But can you share in brief what kind of lighting setup were you using here?
So, Jesse, typically whenever I'm shooting a reception dance floor or a Sangeet, my lights are static. So I generally put two backlights which are at very strong light settings, probably at 1:1 or 1:2. This is a typical AD400 Pro, which is being triggered remotely. I have one front light which is going to be very close to where I'm clicking this picture from, which is also responsible for lighting up the confetti. So this entire confetti which is glowing is because of the front light. The backlight is responsible for creating this rim which is visible on the groom's face very clearly. And the bounce of the light which has been created by the groom's shirt has kind of lit up the bride's face as well. So this is a typical backlight kind of a setup. The front light was not very strong. It would have been a totally different picture if my front light settings were different. The front light was a AD200, again off camera, very close to me on a Mag Sphere. So this is a typical 2 or 3 light setup that I use for dances and Sangeet kind of movements, in which I know that the couple is going to be somewhere in the middle. And even if it's a slightly bigger group, then I can activate my second light also.
All right, and that's interesting. And any such situations do you coordinate with the wedding planner also for the confetti timings and or anything like that? Any such incident that is about to happen and you want to capture it during that time? So do you coordinate also or no?
So we coordinate everything to the T. We actually have timings and sequences and everything mentioned. We have it written down. We are on walkie-talkies, so my entire team is aware of what is going to happen. But ऐसा होता नहीं है कभी भी. When the confetti is ready to happen, उस time पे कभी fireworks हो जाते हैं. जब कभी fireworks की तैयारी हो रही होती है, तो केक पहले ही कट चुका होता है. So, weddings are very dynamic. So, आप कितना भी prep कर लो, it is always like a war zone. कुछ ना कुछ उल्टा-पुल्टा होने ही वाला होता है. So, even here, like I said, confetti pop was kind of a surprise for me because I knew that confetti is happening, but I did not know when it will happen. So my prep was, I'm going to create some nice bouquet. I did not want a very bland shot. Also, there was on the left bottom of the screen is where there were a few people. The chairs were visible. So I was kind of hoping to sort of hide that also with something. I was planning whether I should use my phone to sort of create a reflection or should I use these. I have a couple of crystals which we use. I was like, should I use a crystal? कुछ और effect आएगा. So I decided to go with the wine glasses and I got this lucky shot. But कितना भी prep कर लें, मतलब it is good to hear them out that okay, this is going to happen. But it never actually happens exactly when you want it, or exactly when your light settings are proper, or the angle of the bride and groom is precise, and you're expecting कि अब अगर fireworks हो गए तो this is going to be an award winning shot. वो उसके 3 मिनट बाद होता है फिर. So it just always happens like that.
All right, that's interesting. And since you just mentioned that wedding is almost like a war zone, and changing lenses would always be a challenge. So, how do you prepare? So you work with 2 bodies and different lenses fixed, or you have a whole jhola and at your back, and you have multiple things lined up, or you have an assistant who's carrying 3rd body also. So how do you manage the entire thing, and which are the lenses which you mostly use?
Right. So, Jasiji, that comes to the whole point of what kind of weddings we do. I think I'm just going to close this and we'll just. Primarily, we do 2 kinds of weddings. One are the big fat MNC industrialist, politician kind of weddings in which the guest lists are huge. Everything has to be captured, and bride side, groom side, bride and groom, we have to keep 3 different teams for everything to be captured, documented, and creative pictures being taken at the same time. So that is one. In those kind of scenarios, I generally keep 1 body with a 24/70 kind of a situation with me. So I generally have my light setup. If I have the freedom, if my team is not under a lot of stress, I generally steal one of the assistants and he's helping me with the lights. Because in these bigger weddings, it becomes more of coordination. Me and my wife both coordinate the entire wedding. We are sort of giving sort of commands into what has to be captured, while I'm actually capturing it also at the same time. So that happens during big weddings. So I would generally just have 1 body. I would keep a general purpose 24/70 lens with an off-camera flash and multiple lights placed. So if I have to change something, or if I have to change the light setup, or if I just need the backlight, I can quickly just on the remote controller, I can just switch on and off. That's the big weddings. So I have at least 1 additional photographer who is with me with 2 bodies. He's going to be complementing me with a wide lens and a tele lens. So if I'm having a 24/70, he will definitely be on a 15/30 or a 16/35. And he will also be on a 85 mm or a 70-200. So our entire range is covered. Now this guy who is going to be with me is truly my second photographer. So he is going to focus on whatever I'm trying to capture. He will try to see what lens or what focal length I'm trying to capture, and he will capture it in a different way. So essentially we are capturing the same photograph in 2 different ways, in 2 different lighting conditions. So in that kind of scenario, we generally have 4 or 6 photographers working in a wedding. So everybody has their lead photographer and a second photographer. When we talk about the total contrast of this, when I'm shooting weddings alone, which has been, it is getting very often these days. So when I'm shooting alone, I generally have a wide lens, like a 20 mm with me. I generally have a second body with a 85 or a 50, depending on the situation of what is happening. And I generally have a third body with my assistant with a couple of lens options. And we have 2 or 3 flashes set up with 1 flash on top of my camera as well. So it is that time I am the only person who has to capture everything. So I cannot be, I don't have the luxury to have a second photographer. If I'm the only one, I am just focusing on what needs to be captured and whether I have, whether I have it handy. So that is my primary concern. So in that scenario, I would always go with a wide and tele combination. I would at least have 2 bodies hanging on me and 1 backup body, like a 24/70 or a 14/30 with my second, with my assistant. So those are the 2 variations of how we work.
That's interesting. And we have some interesting questions coming up on YouTube as well, but I'll take them slightly later on. we would want to go through your images again. Yeah.
Okay. So I am going to show some more. Actually, let me show some images which have a little bit of behind the scenes as well. So that, okay, just give me a second. Okay, so I hope you can see this.
Yeah.
So this is an image set from a typical, pre-event portrait session, as we call it. So a lot of people ask me how to go about it. So let me just give you a background of this. This is a wedding from Thailand, and this is the couple which is getting ready to head for the venue. And you can see that there is a beautiful sky which we would like to capture and we would like to include. So now my typical way of capturing it is I like to have ambient pictures. I like to have, like you would say, landscape pictures with a portrait. So that is what I like to do. And here, for example, this first image is a very simple, like a test shot. I don't know if you can see this image. Here is on the left side. Let me just change the color. So I don't know if this is visible.
Yeah.
But yeah. So this is where a light is kept from, slightly left from the camera. And this is like a typical test shot. You're just getting the couple warmed up and you have asked them, why don't you stand here in the balcony and just chill? So, a lot of people will not choose to use the balcony and they'll be like, background clutter hai, and, for whatever reasons, the background has this railing and cement dikh raha hai. So, I somehow love these kind of arrangements. I like to sort of use whatever the couple is available in. If they are living in this apartment, I think they would love to get captured with whatever is their ambience, whatever is their view. So this is a typical first shot, and this is the test shot that we have done. Now coming to the next one. Now this is when they're slightly getting cozy and they're having fun. And so the easiest way to sort of take another variation of a picture is take a silhouette. So अब एक test shot हो गया, एक silhouette हो गया. So now, when we have taken these two pictures, in the back of my mind, both my settings have been calculated. With the silhouette, I have actually calculated what my background settings are, what the exposure for the sky and the ambience is. With the first picture, I have actually calculated what kind of light I need to put on the couple to sort of get their clothes and everything right. So ये दोनों pictures में एक तो दो variety हो जाती है, and what we have actually captured is the different settings in my head. Now then comes the key pictures. So now I start posing the couple. I start telling them, थोड़ा सा कुछ variation करते हैं or whatever I want to do. And this is what is happening in that picture. So this is now again a single light because it's a very small balcony. There is no space to put another light behind. And the same picture, I just turn them on the other side. So while here we were looking at the sky, here I have just turned them and we are looking at the hotel. So we are just in the balcony. We have probably spent about 2 minutes and I've already created 4 different variations of the same balcony photo shoot. And uske baad, once this is done and the bride is like, okay, let me do a touch up, because generally we get about 4 or 5 minutes to do these kind of photo shoots. So as you can see, in the bottom is a cruise liner which is coming out. Now the couple was supposed to be on this same cruise liner, which was supposed to get docked in the river, and all we had to do was walk down and get on it. So it was, again, while we were waiting and I was like, this looks amazing. I need to capture it. But here the light has already fallen down. So this is a slightly, a longer exposure, like a 1/20-ish kind of an exposure. And we have put in 2 lights. One is in the front, which you can see the face is being lit up, and the other one is coming from behind. This was necessary because it had already become very dark at this moment, and we wouldn't have captured the groom properly. And we have the cruise in the bottom. So this is a 5-picture setup which we did in the balcony in like a 10 feet by 10 feet area, and got the ambience, got what the venue was or what the location or city was, captured the couple, captured the group, captured the next venue also from this very venue. So this is how I like to sort of utilize the time and give them multiple varieties of pictures.
That's interesting. And here you would be using closed aperture mostly.
In this one, like you can see, this is even the buildings and everything is quite clear. So this is somewhere around a f8 kind of an aperture, because see, we were actually using 2 lights. So to compensate an f8 is when we need 2 different lights, because the light is already very low and we want to capture everything. The first picture that you saw here, this was slightly shallower because this is probably in the 4 range, because you can see that everything is blurred in the background. So generally we start with shallow apertures. As we are going through the shoot, we keep increasing because we are getting more control of the lights, and we slowly mostly we end up at about f8 or f11. So this is our typical end shot of what we call a simple shoot.
Wonderful, wonderful. There's a question from Arpit Kathuria on YouTube. So, did you use CTO for these shots?
So yes, we use a lot of CTOs. This I think I can also see clearly. It has an orange gel in the back, and I think we have played with white balance in this picture. Otherwise, we could have gotten a nice orange pink sky. So we have changed the white balance settings of our camera to sort of get this blue color of the sky, and we have added that orange gel in our flashes, so that we can actually get this kind of ambience. So I hope I understood the question correctly, right?
Yeah.
So both the flashes have a warming filter on top to compensate for the bluish, the white balance that we have created.
All right. Yeah. So, any other images to show?
Yeah, I can go on all night.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so let me again show something that is a very common question that we get. So I get a lot of questions that how do you actually capture images, and how do we actually get the ambience and everything in the photograph, right? So this is a typical picture. This is actually what we shot in the camera. This is my second photographer who's helping me with the photograph, and this is the final picture. So if you can see that the first thing that we have done is we have actually taken a dummy photograph, so that we are able to remove our second photographer or the lighting setup from the image. The second thing that we have done is we have exposed for the sky. That is very important in daytime pictures, because the biggest problem that we face is we are not able to capture the sky in the picture. Otherwise, it would look like this. It would look all faded and white in the background. So what we have to do is we have to like stop down, and we have to get the exposure lower and achieve something like this. This can only happen when you are able to light up the subject. So this is again, a recommendation or an advice for people who shoot in daytime. Use the flash. Don't just ignore the flash. Ki din mein thodi chahiye hota flash. So this is very important if you want to capture the sky. And of course, I cannot sort of stress more on the importance of taking dummy empty shots. Otherwise, you will not be able to Photoshop your team member or somebody who has kept the light in the frame. So for all of those things, you need dummy shots. If you want to study this image for a lot of newcomers, I would recommend them to look at images and study it. They should look at the sky first and see if there is it is properly exposed. So if you're looking at this picture, the sky is properly exposed. Then you look at the subject, and when you're looking at the subject, the first question that you should ask is ki, how is the subject lit up? So this is your answer. The subject was lit up with a flash from the front. Now, again, when you're looking at an image, you have to see that the subject was lit up, but all the objects around it are not lit up. But if you look at my actual image, you can see reflections of the flash on the pole. You can see the reflection of the flash on the chandelier and on the wood and everything. So this is where we have actually taken a dummy shot of this area and merged it with the couple. So I did not like that reflection. I wanted to keep it natural. So here you can see that we have not, let me just try to write with this. It's all black again. Yeah, so you can see that here we have reduced the reflection. Here there was a reflection which we have reduced. The light is coming from here in the front. This we have actually exposed for the sky. So my settings are for the sky, and everything else is lit up based on what my environment needs to look like. So it's a fairly simple shot, but these are the kind of shots which our clients really love. They like to see the ambience, they like to see what is happening, and they're just chilling, they're doing nothing. So they're like, okay, let's just take a couple of pictures. So this is another.
This is a very, very, very good explanation that you've done, because most people don't even think about exposing for sky and putting the flash on the face. And I think that is, though it is very simple, but it still requires that kind of initial thinking till it becomes a part of your workflow.
I think once people get away from that fear of using the flash during the daytime, it will always, they will start using it like in every situation. I think I'll give you one more example of where a flash was not needed, but we still used it. So let us look at this set. Okay. So this is a set. So again, this is what again I call a little bit of my signature work. This is using the flash. We are trying to create natural lighting. We don't like to use flash which is on the face, which is very visible. So this is something that I love to do. I love to sort of fake sunlight. I love to fake that, you know, there was natural lighting in this shot, but all this was created with the flash. So here we have a couple portrait, which properly lit up flash from the camera side. Again, this image is an example of with flash and without flash. So you can see in this image, let me just point it out. If you can look at the couple's face, both their faces are very dark. As soon as I move to the image where we have used the flash, you'll be able to see the difference. Now look at this now. So you see that subtle difference. The darkness of the face is gone. The face here is properly lit up. And the entire image becomes slightly more vibrant because of this. That dullness in the image is gone because of this flash. So this is what we try to do. In this image, you cannot, I mean, if I don't tell you we have used a flash, I don't think it is possible to understand that there was a flash which was used to light up this image. It looks very natural. It is very subtle. It is very dimly lit, very uniform. So this is something that you need to achieve when you're using flash during the day. It is not needed like the previous image that I've shown you. It is fairly easy to sort of, this is perfectly fine. You can probably do a little bit of touch up in Lightroom or Photoshop and you'll be able to achieve it. But if you can achieve this in camera, I think that gives you so much more to play with when you're actually creating the final picture. Similar to this one, this is our light setup, just a very simple pop-on flash. And you can see how much it has, oops, sorry, just went back. Sorry, I just moved this. Just gonna get back. Yeah. So you can see the light setup is here. Fairly simple. No drama, just one light. My assistant is running around with it. He would go to the left and take this, and he would go to the right. And I will also show you another hidden assistant here. This is our backlight. So all these things we use, and we try to make sure that the user or the viewer is not able to make out that we have used it. That is what I really like to do in my pictures. I don't want the obvious lighting that, okay, you know, front light the backlight mein kiya, silhouette bana diya ya kuch aisa kar diya. You know, I love to create hidden lighting. So if you look at this image, I don't know if you can make out if there is backlight. I'll probably have to zoom in to show you this area which is lit up. It's gone again. So this area which is lit up, this thing would only come, this entire thing would only shine because there is a backlight. Otherwise, like I said, the previous image was there. If I zoom in this one, you can see that there is no backlight. It's all dark. You can't see anything. So this is a typical example of invisible light, which I am a big fan of.
I think this is one great input that you've given, because otherwise, if you don't tell this, it doesn't really look like as if you've used any artificial light or flash here. Right. And you made it very soft, also very subtle, and it's just to do the fill lighting kind of a thing. Just to ensure that you don't really have to work too much on post later on.
Yeah, it's just to say that we always want to give more pictures to our clients. So jitna hum actual photo shoot mein achhi photos le payenge, we are able to deliver variety to them. Agar yahan pe flash nahi ho, if I'm just using daylight to capture it, I would probably give it to my editor and he'll probably spend like 1 or 2 hours on it, and he'll be like, I think one image is good enough, because I can't do like 6 images in the same fashion. And I'll also be like, yeah, we have to deliver 3,000 images to a client. We can't do 5 mehndi pictures. Or 3 din to hum log sirf mehndi ke portrait mein edit karne mein laga denge. So we cannot do that. Here, it gives me an opportunity to give maybe 5 or 6 different variations to the client, just because we captured it so well in the camera itself. And iske saath mein there would probably be a little bit of portraits, like I'd already shown you. There would be, so this is the image again. You can see that this was the lighting setup and this was the image. So very cleverly, I have cropped this one out of my frame. And here my guy was visible. We have hidden him behind the pillar, behind this tree. So this is an easy way to avoid photoshopping. I can even use this image, but I'll have to Photoshop a lot of it. But just a little bit of tweaking and you can get a picture which does not require Photoshop. So yeah, so this is another, all of these are invisible lighting examples. Let me show you another one. Do we have any questions that need to be answered?
There is again one from Arpit. He's asking that, did you use any modifier for the backlight also?
I think the backlight was, no, it's a bare flash in the back. We've used a bare flash because I think we did not have a bigger light here. We just had a V860 here. So we did not want to reduce the light. We needed a strong, like a rim on the side. So we've just used it bare flash. It's on full power and it's bare.
All right. There are a few questions. I think first you finish this kind of setup, then we'll come to the questions, because they are interesting and I want to ask them.
I'm just going to grab some coffee. So if you want to ask another question.
All right, you have, yeah. So one is that by Himadri Bhuvan is asking that, do you get short list from the client, or do you suggest specific shots to them? or you just be on your own? And
so it's all a mix of what the client wants. Sometimes they, during a pre-wedding shoot, they're like, we want these 3 or 4 kind of pictures. And if those kind of pictures appeal to us, or, we don't find them cheesy, or we don't find them, not our style, we would love to do it. We would love to create something which is new, which is something that the client wants. It could be from any photographer. It could be from a magazine, or whatever the client wants. We would love to create that. Secondly, whenever we go to a shoot, we have done a pre-production of the client. So before I step on the venue, I already know what my client looks like. I already know what he's going to be wearing. I know what his personality is, whether he is shy, whether he likes portraits, whether he likes more of, let's say, post pictures, or whether he wants fun pictures, or dancing pictures. So all that pre-production has already happened. So it is not like we go to a shoot unprepared. When we are doing this pre-production, we always get suggestions from my team members. My wife, who handles the pre-production bit, she suggests certain images which would go with the client. Our main photographers, we discuss those pictures with them, and then they come up with their own pre-production. They're like, these are the images which I want to create. Aap mere ko at least 15 minutes de dena, so that, I also create something new. So it's a team effort, but shortlist from the client, yes, we are open about it. Preparedness of the shoot, whether we are going with a list, yes, we always have, not like a proper list ki hum tick maar dein. We have a mental list of what we are going to do. We probably have some screenshots on our phone that we found interesting, and which we can probably create. But if you're looking at this picture, which I was showing on the screen, there is no preparedness involved in this. You don't need a pre-production to create this picture. It is just that we wanted to capture Thailand. We wanted to capture the backdrop and this Mehndi event and all that happening. So we have kept them in a way that their clothes are visible. It's colorful. The greens, the blues, everything is visible. So this is a very on-the-go kind of a picture. But I knew what kind of a pose my client would want. The bride was very, she loves traditional kind of poses in which, you're holding the husband or the groom, you're hugging them, or you have kept one hand on them. So she really liked those kind of poses. So we have actually incorporated one of those. So this is typically how we go to a photo shoot.
Yeah, that's interesting. And there's another question I think that can be asked here itself is by Himadri again, that I know it's not possible every time, but would like to know how close do you get to your clients? Like, do you become friends? Any interesting story that you would like to share? And my question, I would like to add one more little part in that question, is that you talked about pre-production. So between the day that you close the deal, that you have finalized, you've been finalized as the photographer for the wedding, and the wedding day, how many times really do you meet the family or the couple to finalize everything?
Okay. So this, the answer is very broad. So I don't know if you can see the screen. If this is zero interaction, yes, we get weddings in which we have not even seen the couple. So we do a lot of weddings which are from political background families, from industrialist families, where we are only interacting with their accounts team and vice presidents and general managers. We have not even spoken to the owners of that company whose son or daughter is getting married. The brief is that we have to be invisible, and they have seen our work. They have seen us working in some other wedding. So they know that we are invisible because we were never obstructing them. That is what they like. And that is what they want us to carry forward. That is a very simple brief. The other briefs are whoever is coming in, we have to capture that. We have to document everything. We have to meet the couple when they show up. So that is, I would say, zero here. And then on a scale of 100, I have clients who have been married for maybe 10 years now or 12 years when I started. They have had kids. We have shot their pregnancy shoots. We have shot their, Mundan ceremony also. They were like, you have to shoot it. I'm like, I don't do all this nautanki kind of shoot. They're like, nahi, aapko hi shoot karna hai, or send a team member. So, we have done that. We have done all the events that are happening in their family, from first birthday to fifth birthday to, whatever dance performance in school. So that happens when we get very close to our clients. And that only happens when the client allows us to get close. So it is always a scale from 0 to 100. There is every, if I have to make an Excel sheet, I would actually have clients in the 0 to 10 range and clients in the 100 to maybe 120 range, in which, we have actually lived with the clients, we have traveled with the clients. So it is all a matter of comfort that the client feels with us. And it is all subjective. It is all different for every client. So I hope I'm able to answer how close I'm able to get to the clients. It all depends on the comfort level. If I feel that I have not met the client or understood what the client is, I will not like to sort of direct them or get close. I would keep my distance. I would remain invisible. I would stick to the brief of being invisible. I will, they might probably not even know who Ramit Batra is, because the kids don't even know who has been hired by the parents. So I would be that invisible. I would never, throw in my weight that I am the main photographer. Mere ko bhav chahiye. I will never be like that. They would probably know one or two of my lead photographers who are more on the face than getting to know me. But certain other clients, we have traveled with them. Like I said, there are times I was just looking. I had a few pictures on my desktop. There was a client जिनका मैंने चुन्नी fix किया था because makeup artist had run out of time, and she was like कि I have to do the other bride. Once I do the other bride, by that time you will reach the venue. She sent me a video of how to put the chunni on the head of the bride, and the bride was like, I cannot tell my family that मैं बिना चुन्नी के आ रही हूँ venue पे. So so it was just me and the bride, and then she reached there. I played that video. I pinned the chunni on her head. There are times when I have helped the bride set up the venue because she was doing a DIY kind of a wedding. She was the wedding planner. So she's like, forget photography, tu mere ko cake or ye decor karne mein help kar. So, we have done those kind of things. Sometimes we have partied with the bride and groom so much that next day they, when they woke up for haldi, I was with them, in their hotel, and they were like, yo, hame to utha diya, Ramit ko bhi utha do, because he has to shoot it. So it is, it is a very amazing journey. We meet all kinds of people, and yes, I made some amazing friends and amazing people. And at the same time, sometimes it has been very business-like. Aap shoot karo, paisa lo, and just forget about whatever you have shot. Data deke aap bas dobara mat dikhai dijiyega, because that was your job. A lot of industrialist families do not keep in touch. They do not. We never hear from them. We don't even get to know whether they received the pictures, they saw it, they liked it, or so. It is all variety of people that we work with.
That's interesting. But what would you prefer? You have you've shot weddings which where you've been friends, and you've also shot where nobody knows you. And so, what is that you personally would feel more comfortable with?
So honestly, Jasiji, it's a totally different experience. I loved when when you're a part of a bigger wedding, like I'm talking in terms of scale. I'm talking about the top 10 weddings in terms of scale that would have happened in India ever. So we have been a part of a couple of those, and it is amazing that the bride and groom doesn't even know you, and you're shooting the wedding, but you get friends with their family members, some of the artists, some of the other vendors who are there. So it's a totally different experience. You are at a totally different space. It's a huge learning curve. You get to spend maybe 2 or 3 days in the lives of the billionaires of this planet, and it's a totally different experience. I would never sort of not want to do it. It is amazing how crazy their lives are. And at the same time, when you're shooting a wedding of somebody you are friends with, or somebody you have grown, recently we did a wedding. In fact, today I had to shoot a post-wedding photo shoot of them in Death Valley. So we had a little heartbreak talk in the morning, and it was I was going to we were going to be in California, staying with them, and they got married in Agra, and we are still so close that they could actually tell us that, Ramit, यार आपके टीम इतनी बड़ी आ रही है, हम लोग how do we save money during the wedding, हम सारे friends को यहाँ ठहरा रहे हैं, हम यहाँ पे कर रहे हैं, how do we manage logistics कि parents को भी ज़्यादा pinch ना हो, and you can get your team also and they are comfortable, ऐसा ना हो कि उनको खाने में और रहने में problem आ रही है. So we have had frank discussions. So there are all sorts of people. And I would love to sort of work with people who get close to us. So it's like always, I would not be able to pick.
That's very interesting, and would like to show some more images. There are some questions, but then I'll come to them later.
Right. I am just going to show a couple of images. So I have 3 images which I would like to show.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were talking about closeness. This is me feeding alcohol to the bride while she was getting ready, and सबको बाहर निकालना पड़ा because they are from a very traditional family, and they were like, नहीं bride के portraits करने हैं, सबको बाहर जाना पड़ेगा, जगह नहीं है room में. So this is one. This is me with the bride in Goa, and this is when my camera has been confiscated, and I have been asked to party and get drunk. So this is how close we get with people, and this is another shoot that I'm doing in. This was actually Lodi Garden, and we were doing all sorts of nautanki, and I was in the middle of that. So this is the kind of craziness that we get into. Okay, I'm gonna get back to the serious stuff. So
this is interesting, but this is very interesting because most people see the difference. I always say that I interact with a lot of wedding photographers, and one crib that most of the kind of wedding photographers, is that they are not a respected lot. Right. And I always tell them that I'm not a wedding photographer, but you gain respect. You can't demand respect. Yeah. So it automatically happens. We all are dealing with human beings, and if we don't behave well, then eventually they will also not behave well with us. I think that goes hand in hand.
I think you're spot on. When it comes to respect, wedding photographers, yes, are treated like shit in most of the cases. And, you can probably you can begin on that note that, okay, you are a wedding photographer, there is no respect for that. But if by the end of that wedding, you have gained the respect of the client, I think that is a job well done.
That's a big thumbs up.
So that is our target. We always start with every wedding, be it a friend's wedding or a family wedding or an industrialist wedding. We start with ki they don't have a very high regard for us. So we have to maintain our dignity. We don't have to stoop to whatever they tell us. But at the same time, we don't have to interfere with whatever they want in their as an output. So once that becomes like a boundary, once that becomes like, I'm not poking myself, or I'm not like throwing myself on you, then the client is like, this guy is, we see him, he has some authority, there is something going on. When we guide our team, when we tell them. So you will never see my team going to like a bride or a groom and जैसे शादियों में होता है shoulder adjust कर देते हैं ऐसे जाके और मुंह थोड़ा सा टेढ़ा कर देते हैं. You will never see my team.
Shoulder adjust is the classic thing that you just mentioned.
No, people still do that. I'm talking. अगर आप top 5 photographers की list बनाएं आज इंडिया में, and उसमें से 2-3 ऐसे होंगे जिनका आपको वीडियो मिल जाएगा. Client. So the clients, they don't say anything. They are polite because of your stature, but at the same time they feel कि ये क्या कर रहा है यार? Why is he coming so close? अब तो खैर because of COVID-19, I think we'll not be able to go close anyways. तो बच जाएंगे. But
I'll have a question on that, but little later. But have you ever faced a similar situation where the client was actually not very respectful?
See, like I said, there are all kinds of clients. We have faced from being very respected, eating with them, to not being respected and being asked to sort of not eat at the venue, arrange for your own food. So right at this moment, what we do is we just ask our clients, what is your food policy? What is your accommodation policy? If you feel that your plates are too expensive or something, just let us know, because we are not dying to eat food at your buffet. We are just coming there to do a job. What happens is when we are dealing with brides and grooms, they are very respectful, but sometimes their manager or sometimes their accountant is like, "Ah, bhaiya, aapko 6 baje aana hai," and you have to be there. So the bride and groom sometimes doesn't even know what the kind of background information that we are getting or how we are treated. So I never put it on them. It is always the other people who are treated like that, and they're in return, they suddenly get the authority कि चलो अब हमें किसी को control करना है 4 दिन. So it comes down to us, but we are very particular. If there is no food arrangement, we make sure we can do our own arrangement. Or if the client is like, it's you can just eat wherever or whatever you want to do, you can bill us later. So there are all sorts of people. So like I said, जितना respect मिलता है हम उतना ही करीब जाते हैं. If there is no respect or if there is a certain level of disregard, then we also keep our boundaries and we do our job professionally. That we do not allow them to demean us or degrade us, but at the same time, it is very professional. We do our job and we get out of it. Then there are no bonus points for the client. Then there are no अगले दिन आ जाना हमारे घर पे ये event है. Then we send them the bill and invoice for that also. So then we are very professional in that. So
interesting.
So let me get back to, I think, a couple of technical shots. So this is another typical, I would say, a bridal shot. You can see my team chilling behind the bride and groom. So, in our scenarios, we generally get about 3 or 4 minutes to create bridal portraits. Most of our clients are not very keen into posed pictures because, like I've been talking from the very beginning, we are not into a lot of posed stuff. So our client also understands, they have seen our work and they know that we do a lot of candid pictures. But at the same time, I always love to do one beautiful posed picture of my client in their wedding attire. Be it before the wedding or after the wedding, मतलब मेरे को वो एक photograph जरूर चाहिए होती है. So I generally try to steal a little bit of time. Here they were really pressed for time, so they were like, we don't have the time to get out of the venue and kuch karenge. So I was like, आप staircase में से तो जाओगे, we will be crossing the staircase, so we will just stop there for a minute. I will have my setup ready. As soon as we cross the staircase to the mandap, your shot will be done, and you'll be sorted with that one picture. So this is my team. This is the staircase where they are walking from. And I just wanted a simple looking at each other kind of a picture, capturing this staircase, because I did not have much to play with. I could not go to the venue. There were 2,000 people at the venue. I could not take them to a blank background and then Photoshop it later. I'm not a big fan of that. So I was like, okay, this is a nice chandelier. Let me do something about it. This was the picture that I took with the, like somebody had said, CTO gels. So here the gels are in place. The white balance and everything has been tweaked. So you can see how much the colors have changed. Yeah. And this is the dummy shot. Like I was stressing earlier as well, you need dummy shots. This is the second dummy shot. So these are the 4 images that we have clicked to create something which is this. So here you can see there are no shadows or the team members which are visible. The groom and the bride is nicely backlit. The warmth of the wall and everything is properly done. The chandelier is clearly visible. So from here to this. So this is what we typically like to achieve. Again, this is not exactly invisible lighting, but if you look at it from a perspective that we have tried to recreate the rim which is here is because of this chandelier's light.
Yeah.
So that was our concept, that we are going to create a little bit of a rim, which in turn is going to look like there is a chandelier, and that is causing the rim. So that was a very simple 2-minute picture, which we just managed to get, and that's about it. So this is one of those bridal portraits. I will show you another set of portraits. So like this portrait, again, this is slightly, I would say, visible lighting, because we wanted a slightly glamorous magazine kind of a shot. This is the basic test shot. That is the background. There is a basic swimming pool. Somebody is actually taking a selfie, and then you can see a little bit of sunset. And this was the picture without the light. So what we have done is we have just added the light, and we have gone closer and kind of change the focal length to get a slightly blurred background, and it looks like they are at a sunset blue background kind of thing. And this was natural. I was just talking to them. I was just talking random things of what happened in the morning, and they were just laughing at it, and we just kept clicking. So this is not like I asked them to laugh specifically or pose like that. This is how they look like when they were posing, which I was like, ye to bada hi dull shot lag raha hai. I have to change something. So this is what we achieved finally.
Very interesting.
And then this shot is again a much talked about shot. This is a very technical shot. बहुत आसान लगता है ये. And Jasi ji, if you would like to dissect it a little bit from.
I can't actually figure out what is there, but yes, you have. There is a rim light, which is the light is placed right. Yeah. So coming from there, and then I think right behind them also something.
Yeah. So there is basically one light here.
Yeah.
There is one light here.
Yeah.
And so this, yes, जो center वाला light है, this is responsible for creating this effect.
All right. Great.
Then this is actually a long exposure shot.
So this is a smoke or what?
So this is smoke.
Okay.
And this is the sky with a little bit of stars which are visible.
Right.
And this is the couple which is here. And so this is basically colored smoke. So what we had done was I exposed, I think this was shot at about f11, and this is shot on I think a 85 lens. So I'm at a slight distance from the couple because I wanted to crunch the entire background and foreground thing. I did not want it to separate out. What we have done is, if you can see here, We lit up the smoke bomb and our assistant ran from left to right. Very simple. So, उनके वो दौड़ने से you can see यहाँ पे smoke has already started to travel up because यहाँ पे probably आधा एक second बीत गया होगा. So that's it. This is just a shot of an orange smoke bomb. We had one light because I wanted to light up the bride's hair.
Yeah. Otherwise, it would have been dull.
And the other light is slightly on the top. The other light is responsible for creating this slight rim on the groom's face. So I'm just going to clear this up. So you can see one light which is coming from here and the other light which is coming from here. So you can see the rim on the groom's face, but there is a very slight rim on the bride's face.
Right.
But she has a distinct hair.
I think which is adding to the depth as well.
Yeah, because I did not want to create a rim on the bride's face. Because we did about 4 or 5 shots of this. So I did not like the whole rim on the bride face because it was merging with the top. So what I did was I actually got this done. And so ye har baar hamara different aa raha tha. This entire thing was coming out to be very different in each shot. And I was kind of exposing for the sky. So it was a very technical shot. This was a 3-second exposure with the light. One of the lights is at full power at the back. The other light pointing at the couple. The couple is very still. Although it doesn't matter if they are still or not because flashes work at 1/4.
Any day. That's going to freeze.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter, but I still wanted them to be at the precise point. This again, it has to be shot at manual focus. You cannot focus in the dark. This is all black. So what we had done earlier was we had kept a mobile phone here on their face and achieved pinpointed focus. And then we had achieved this shot in manual focus mode. The sky was slightly after sunset, so we got a little bit of stars and a little bit of blue here in just about. Sorry?
It's a single shot.
This is a single shot. That is the whole beauty of this shot. This entire thing has been done in a single.
That's interesting because at f11, you said around f11 is the aperture size, right?
Yes, yes.
And with that, you could get the stars. And I think that is something phenomenal.
So that is only because this was not typical Delhi and this is done in Alibag. We are very lucky to get bright skies and beautiful starlit. You can even see post sunset. You can even see this hint of purple.
Yeah.
So which we generally don't see in northern skies. So again, this is so this was a very technical achievement for me. I wanted to do this for a very long time. Sometimes I would miss the sky. Sometimes I would miss the the focus. तो बहुत टाइम से एक खुजली सी हो रही थी कि I wanted to do something like this, and we got 4 or 5 shots which were not very amazing, but this was the last smoke bomb, so I was like I have to be sure and I have to get something, otherwise वो पहली वाली shots को कुछ Photoshop करना पड़ेगा. But we got really lucky. The bride herself is a photographer, so it was a lot of pressure for me to actually achieve this shot, but we got really lucky in this one.
This is an amazing shot.
So I am going to show a couple of other shots as well. Okay, so I'm going to show another one, which is like I think we had a question earlier that do I have a short list? So when you go to a Western wedding, like a church wedding, or when you go to a wedding which is slightly more not the Fera kind of a wedding, they have an expectation of having portraits with friends and family and stuff. And more often what happens is we end up having sabko line mein khada hoke similar pictures. The maximum what we do is maybe have them look here and there and stuff like that, but it is never as interesting unless you get like a dramatic sky or something. So this picture, when I saw this party van, this Volkswagen van was the bride's van in which she came to the venue. So I had an eye on this van and I was like, I have to use this van somehow for their photo shoot. And this is when the shortlist sort of kept ringing in my head. Can I use it for the couple portraits? Can I use it for the family portraits? Can I use it for the friends? And then I got to know right after the ceremony that the van was just supposed to be there for dropping the bride, and it was supposed to just go. Luckily, the driver was just chilling there and eating at the buffet. So I really got lucky, and by the time we went out, there was nobody at the van. And so this is Singapore. You cannot actually do stuff which is not in your package. If the van driver had said that he is just going to drop the bride to the church and his job is over, this is not allowed. This is like hiring the van actually again. But I was like, we have to do something with the van. And so I quickly got the entire squad there. I made the bride and groom sit there. I took a portrait of them, pretending that, we are doing a photo shoot. And I did not tell the bride and groom that I am going to get everybody in. So I briefed everyone exactly where they are going to be standing. So this was more like a coordinated shot. So why I'm showing this shot is because a lot of people who are into photography, who are new to the photography, they are not able to coordinate portraits of the bride and groom with their families and friends, which is very critical for the bride and groom. So this is something of a logistical issue. So आप जब भी wedding में जाते हो, I think it is very important to get a feeler of how am I going to collect the bride and groom with their family. You can have 100 notes of what pictures you want to achieve, but if you cannot get the bride's sister or if you cannot get the bride's parents, all your notes are going to fall on your face because आप वो photo ही नहीं achieve कर पाए. आपके पास वो अगर एक basic 4 लोगों के खड़े हुए photo ही होनी है, so then there is no point of having a short list. So that is why this logistics of getting the family or friends together is again a part of the wedding photographer. A lot of people come back from weddings and say when the client says कि हमारे parents के साथ एक भी photo नहीं थी, the photographer says कि आप तो कभी इकट्ठे हुए ही नहीं और आपने तो कभी बोला ही नहीं. It is not their problem. This is a standard shortlist. A wedding photographer needs to get the bride groom with their family. If you're not getting them together in a picture, then that is on you.
Right. Absolutely. This is some rare insight into how you have to manage and how you have to be always on your toes, thinking and planning and if things all fall in place, then obviously execution. Yeah.
Totally. Okay, so next picture is this. Okay, so this is another one of my signature photographs that people asked me about, कि क्या setting था, कैसे किया था, and all that. So these are typically dance floor pictures which are shot in zero light. You can see the streaks that we have created in the back. So again, this is shot in apertures like f8, f10, sometimes even f22. We shoot it at the minimum ISO, which is generally 100 or 80, whichever camera you're using. And this is generally shot with an off-camera flash. On most of the times, it has to be on full power because we are using such a small aperture. And then once we click the picture, we generally shake the camera and we get the streaks or whatever lights that are there. In case there are no lights right behind the bride and groom, there would be lights behind you or on some other side. So as soon as you click that picture, we just point it to the direction of where the lights are and just shake it a little bit. So that is responsible for the streaks that you're seeing on top, left and right. And the reactions, of course, because you cannot see the camera or the photographer, the bride and groom are always at ease. It's always so dark in after parties that they cannot even see you. So all you have to do is just wave your hand and just tell them that, okay, I'm going to be taking some pictures, and we always get some crazy, mad reactions from brides and grooms during the dance floor. In fact, while I was looking at some pictures, I found one picture of myself. So this is another one, which again is shot while I was teaching this to one of my second photographers. That is me at the venue when we were experimenting some stuff. So again, you can see here it's a little more distinct. You can see that the light has been pushed out. So this is the main light, and we have moved the camera in this direction. Yahan pe bhi probably there were some lights which have been moved in this direction, and the light is falling on my face, and you can probably use rear shutter sync for this. We generally use the first shutter. We generally don't use rear shutter because I like to capture the picture and then shake it. So that is my own style. But yeah, so this is also really great to sort of add a little bit of masala, a little bit of fun in your after party pictures instead of those boring, flash on the face kind of pictures. And then I have some. I'm going to show some. Do we have time, Jasiji? Or?
Yeah, I think we can continue for 5 minutes more, and then we will come back to, because I have some questions and then there are some questions there as well. Okay. So we have 5 minutes where you can show.
Okay. So I'll quickly actually. Okay, so I'll show you this picture. So this first picture that I'm showing you is what we call the lazy photographer's picture. So this is our definition of, we generally have multiple photographers in my team when we are capturing a photo shoot. This is shot on camera without any flash. I don't know how much you can see, but the trees are blurred. The sky is hazy. It's got a beautiful color. It's got a nice tint, but this is shot with probably ISO 1,28,000 or ISO 600. This is a typical picture which will not go anywhere in the album. I will probably give it to them on WhatsApp ki kabhi story dal dena. But this is not the kind of photography. This is what people want to do initially when they're starting, when they're like, we are natural light photographers. So this is a natural light photograph. Coming to the next picture, this is shot with the light. I have deliberately kept, this is not the final picture. We created this picture as the final picture, but we created many more pictures also. Why I'm showing this picture is because here the lighting setup is clearly visible. Again, I would like to point out, we have used one backlight, very clearly visible. You can even see my assistant here, creating a nice rim. The other light is where I am standing. So this is one soft light, which I've used probably, I think it would again be on a sphere or something, which is creating a soft light effect. So this is what changes when you add light to it. If you look at the sharpness of this image versus this image, you can see a stark difference between the quality of two pictures. And this is what we need to strive at. This is ISO 100. If I probably zoom in, I can probably see her eyelashes also. So this is the kind of quality that we like to achieve in pictures. It is not just about creating pictures. This is also a picture. This is amazing. I mean, I love it. But at the same time, what will I do with this picture? I cannot print it in the album. I cannot make a frame out of it. It will be too smudgy for a frame. It is probably shot at maybe 1/2 or 1/4 shutter speed. It is all hazy. It is all blurry. But look at this. This is tack sharp. Again, it has a nice rim. It is separating out the couple. When we are creating the same picture with the light, it gives such more drama. You can see the sky, you can see the buildings, you can see the swimming pool. It is just more crisp. So eventually when people who get into wedding photography or who are already there, they should also look at the final output of the images. It is, you have to get a little bit more technical into the images and not just create an image which is beautiful. Like this image, again, we have reduced the background, we have increased the light on the foreground, we have increased the light on the pool area. So this is again a very dramatic picture, again shot at ISO 100, very sharp, a lot of detail in this picture versus this beautiful picture, but screen pe dekhne ke liye or iPhone pe dekhne ke liye, it's amazing, but that's about it. So always look at the final output of the pictures as well, which is very important, which a lot of us forget about, which a lot of us feel if it's beautiful looking, forget about everything else, forget about the settings, forget about using the light. So again, just a reminder, use quality lighting as well to create sharp pictures, usable pictures for the client.
Very good example. Very, very good. Because you rightly said that most people, when they get into photography, that is what they want to shoot. So high ISOs and all, and hoping that they'll be able to sail through, but eventually nothing happens because those images are not worth beyond WhatsApps and Facebooks.
I think if I look at your examples, Jasiji, the landscape pictures that you create, they are always multiple pictures which are weaved in together. We can always create an HDR image out of an iPhone, which will probably look very similar to what you can achieve, but that is not what has to be done. So this is the difference which people don't understand. They're like, this is just humne wahan camera rakha, long exposure kar diya, landscape photograph aa gayi. So in wedding photography also, we have to look at layers, we have to look at lightings, and people forget that it's just flash laga ke jaldi se ek photograph liya, background ko expose kar diya. So it just doesn't go far to do that.
Yeah, right. It doesn't work that way. That's been amazing. So we have few questions. I'll take it from the YouTube first, and then I have my own set of questions also.
Yeah.
One is by Naveen Vishwanath. So he's asking that you have any idol photographers that whose work that you admire?
I admire Jassi Ji's work.
Yes, sir.
I am such a big fan of his landscapes. Honestly, I learn a lot from Jassi Ji. Aapke jo landscapes hote hain, we try to incorporate that in our ambient pictures and the portraits that we create for couples. I have some other examples. I'll probably show you those as well. But I generally like to follow artists that are creating work in different genres, especially movies. Movies are a great inspiration for me because we get to see different frames which we can use in our wedding photography. Right now, I think more than a photographer, I would say Instagram is my inspiration. I just get lost every day. 2-3 ghante, I keep scrolling. I keep looking at such beautiful images. I follow wedding photography, wedding photographer. Itne sare hashtags hain. I think right now I cannot pinpoint any one photographer who's doing great work. I think every photographer is creating at least good 2-3 images per wedding. So we need to sort of broaden our scope. It is like times have changed. Earlier it used to be that you follow one photographer. Now I think you need to see what hashtag are you following, or what Instagram account, which is more like a collective account, people who collect pictures, who are you following for great images?
Right. Wonderful answer. And there is one question by Monica, and I also wanted to ask the same question, that can you share which was your favorite wedding and why? So maybe one incident or something, couple or family or anything which made you feel that is the best wedding that you have shot.
So I think that is a very tricky question. I hope my brides are not watching. they'll be like, हमारी wedding कैसे अच्छी नहीं थी?
और bride तो भी खाना बना रही होगी.
So I think a couple of instances that come to my mind is, so I shot a wedding in California, in San Francisco. That wedding was very special to me. I had met that person once before that wedding, and we had met on a, like आपके जैसे tours होते हैं जैसे जी, like you go on a like a tour. So I had gone on a like a heritage walk kind of a tour with that person. I had met that person and we became friends and all that. And like how you're casually when you're drinking and you're like, when you get married, you have to have me as your wedding photographer. And after 5 drinks, everybody is like, yeah, of course, tumhare koi bulayenge, we'll not call anybody else. And she actually kept her promise. She actually, when she was getting married, she called me and she's like, I'm going to be getting married in Fremont in San Francisco. And she's like, would you be willing to fly all the way there? And then she's like, as the conversations kept going on, she's like, I have no idea how to actually run a wedding. She's like, you have experience. Can you actually help me plan the wedding as well? So from being the photographer on board to, going to pick decor elements at her wedding, actually planning the Sangeet, since it was a very, it was a very American, very westernized wedding where mostly people do everything themselves. So it was more like, I'm bartending also, but I'm taking pictures also. I'm taking care of the bride's mother-in-law and father-in-law coming in. And I'm also responsible for, jo candid shots lene hain. So it was more like, it was a very close family experience for me. It was those 7 days that I spent with the family, with the bride. That is, I think, one of the most special weddings that I have. I have some pictures of it. If
Yeah, please.
you would like to see, let me just see. This was in 2013. So I should have some pictures. I'm sorry. It'll just take a minute. I'm just going to my archive. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly show the preview pictures. There are 130 pictures in the preview itself. So I'll quickly go through it so that we don't take more than 2 minutes and I'll not bore you with it. Okay, this is, can you see this?
Yeah.
No, I think it just went to the wrong window. Okay, can you see it now?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was the whole scheme of the wedding. Sorry, this is, okay. So this is, I don't know if you can see this cake top in which the bride is actually dragging the groom. This was the kind of fun that she had planned. Okay, so ye ulta aa raha hai, but okay. So this is, I'm just looking at the very close family, very intimate wedding. The friends and family. So this is the groom and the bride doing like some dance. This is the mother watching. So this is some drinks that were happening, the cake cutting, the first speech, and so all the little bit of fun. I did a small pre-wedding shoot for them as well. And this is some Kalira happening, some brides, friends having fun. This is the Sindoor, the Feras, a little bit of details. And yeah, this is, I really like this picture of the bride and groom at the mandap. So again, a little bit of details, some fun, some funny moments that I captured. And so it's all jumbled up. So I'm sorry, it's not sequential. It's all jumbled up. So Varmala bo rahi hai, pehle bidai ho rahi thi. So this is the entry. I think it's in reverse chronological order.
ठीक है.
So this is the Barat.
बच्चा बीच में हो गया.
So fun happening, all. So this was the venue. It's like California, beautiful farm and blue skies. So बहुत सुंदर venue थी. So that's me with the bride.
All right.
So just fooling around, and they had. So she was just like I said, she was doing it herself. I was helping her prep the cake and everything. So this was again a very interesting picture for me. You can see Nimbu Mirchi in the US, and it was these people are very they are second, third generations in the US, so they're not like abhi India se gaye hain. So it was so interesting to see that they still remember these little things, ki nazar na lage and all that. And yeah, a little bit of getting ready sessions. This is all crazy after party scenes. A little bit of Sangeet. So you can see that kiddie speaker and a laptop on the left. So all DIY kind of stuff. And people getting drunk. I made this cocktail for the family. So bride was tasting it. So yeah, again, a lot of fun dances. Sangeet. So this was the venue for the Sangeet. Again, a beautiful open air venue. I mean, in India, we miss these kind of things. We should do this more. So party for the kids and Mehendi, and this is when we are receiving the groom's family. And they had all South Indian food as well. And yeah, so this was a little pre-wedding photo shoot I did. And so, like I said, when you get closer to the bride and groom, you hear stories about what is happening in their lives. So I just wanted to show this little picture. So here, the groom had never proposed the bride. So since I was speaking to the bride, and like I said, we become close, and you try to understand the bride and groom. Here we got to know that he had never proposed. So I slowly, very subtly sneaked to the groom, and I told him, when we are doing the pre-wedding shoot, there will be a moment when it will be all beautiful, when I'll be taking some, which will be the highlight of that photo shoot. I'll give you a thumbs up, or I'll give you like some gesture. Just go down on the knee and propose to her, because she really wants it. So it was a little bit of, photographer come counselor kind of a job for me. And so this is when it happened, and he finally got down on his knee and he proposed. And she was super surprised. She's like, how did this happen? Because this was very unexpected and all that. So this is she running away because she was all emotional. And she was like, so this is just both of them having fun, and this is the cover of their album. So this is one of the key pictures which says the wedding, San Francisco, and all the fun that we had. So yeah, so these are the kind of weddings that God has gotten us connected with, and it has always been very emotional, very loving for us to be a part of.
Yeah. So there was some interesting set. So there is one interesting question that had come. I'm looking for it, which is by Monica, and I think that's a wonderful question, Monica. Have you ever done something which you have for which you have not charged because they could not afford it?
So there are times that we have photographed a couple of underprivileged people when there were a couple of people who had a wedding which was more like a runaway wedding because the family was not allowing the wedding to happen, and they were from a very underprivileged family, and they got a church wedding done. And they were like, we did not have a photographer for a wedding because we just wanted to go to the church and get married. And this was a conversation which I overheard during the fairas of another wedding. So this is at night, at probably like 11 in the night. And they're like, our friends got married in the morning, and they were so emotional and all that. And they did not have a photographer. And, if they would have been so lucky to have somebody like you do it. And I just, after the wedding got over, I just pulled to that lady and I was like, what's the story? Why did they not have a photographer? They're like, they cannot afford it. And their family, because, she's South Indian and the groom is Irish. And they're like, the families were totally against it. So nobody came to the wedding. It was just the bride and groom, just a couple of friends, and they just went to church. So I just asked them, if they are still in India, and if they don't mind wearing the same clothes again, this wedding is going to get over in the morning at about 5 or 6. As soon as this is over, I'm in the same city as you guys. Why don't you ask them to come here to the venue, and I'll take some nice portraits of them? So they got overwhelmed. They spoke to the couple, and apparently the groom had gotten a stomach bug because he was not from India. So uska to pet kharab tha and all that. But they pulled him, and with a grumpy face he came, and he's like, no, I'm not into all this. I'm like, just give me like 15 minutes. I'll make some nice portraits of you. So I just took them to an urban area to sort of look like they are having like a first look session, and I got some portraits done of them. Did not charge them or did not ask for money. So yeah, so there have been cases where I've heard stories where something I could help a little bit, and jahan pe ho saka, we have done our bit.
Very nice. Now, I have a couple of questions, and I think after that we'll start winding up. One is that there is one question on YouTube as well, that what is the best business tip that you will give to photographers who are just starting out? And I would like to add to it and ask you probably that how important is portfolio for a wedding photographer to start getting work? And it's kind of a catch-22, the egg and hen kind of a story that you need to have a portfolio to get weddings, but to get the portfolio, you have to shoot weddings. Exactly. It is unlike any other kind of landscape photography or portrait that you can just shoot, but weddings, you can't even have a fake kind of a wedding, stage kind of a wedding. So how do these people manage?
So I think the easiest way to make a portfolio is to shoot a wedding and be a part of the wedding. First of all, you don't have the experience to shoot a wedding. So you are not a professional wedding photographer. So people should forget that will you be paid for this project. You should not be paid for this project. In fact, you should pay sagan to the couple that you're going to shoot that wedding for. You need to shoot a couple of those kind of weddings to make your portfolio and to understand what a wedding looks like. So that solves your egg and hen issue, that how do we make a folio without actually getting a project. So you did not get a project, but you shot a wedding and you make that wedding your portfolio. So that is one. Secondly, when you're shooting that kind of a wedding, be respectful of the photographer who is shooting there. Don't mess around with the bride and say, I have some brilliant ideas. You don't have the experience to have brilliant ideas. If you are just making your portfolio, you should be on the sidelines and try to create something without poking your nose in between what the bride, who has paid lakhs of rupees to hire a photographer, is doing. So you should just try to create your portfolio silently. So that is my main advice to people who want to get into wedding photography. Shoot 5 or 6 weddings in your family, in your friend circle. Secondly, your first question was, what is a tip in terms of business when you're starting up? So let's assume you have already created a portfolio from wedding photography. You've attended a few weddings. You have probably, there are a lot of photographers who do workshops in which they create mandaps and they create a wedding scenario. You can probably be a part of that to create your own portfolio. I'm assuming you have created that and then you're asking for a business tip. The business tip that I would like to say or give is deliver pictures on time deliver beautiful pictures, and speak to the bride and groom about what they require and give them that. It is a very, it is a very tricky business to be in. People just start thinking that I will create beautiful pictures for my Instagram. I am getting paid for it. I am going to be very contemporary and very new age, and I'm just going to create those 50 pictures and baki I can just randomly shoot. That is not how a wedding works. You need to create beautiful pictures throughout, and that is primarily the job of the wedding photographer. If you can do that, deliver what the bride wanted, you will get projects.
That's a very interesting answer and wonderful one at it, because I have seen many photographers and they always say that they do not deliver. They have this kind of question and grouse that they do not get paid well, or they do not get paid on time. They lose money. And my first question to them is that, did you deliver images on time?
Right.
And the answer is always no. It's been 100% times that people have said, that no, they could not, because they end up taking too many weddings which they can handle properly. Yeah. And I think that is where things start going wrong.
That is so rightly put up, that people don't deliver, take too many projects कि season में कमा लेते हैं और बाद में deliver करते रहेंगे. You will never get the second season.
Yeah, it doesn't work this way. Now, one interesting question, and then have you ever received an odd request from a couple in terms of ye shoot kar do or something, and which you didn't feel like doing it, but you still had to do it, and how did you handle it, kind of?
In terms of odd requests, we get very stupid and funny poses from couples sometimes. And sometimes if they are, like I said, I remember when I made that scale, if I'm here somewhere in 80 to 100 friendship zone, I tell them ki ye bakwas hai, I'm not going to do it. But if I'm here in the 0 to 10, I will just, be very grumpy, and I'll just take that picture. And during the edit, 99% my editor is going to call me and be like, sir, ye picture 2814 doesn't go with our style. Are we delivering this picture? And sometimes we just, we have to deliver it because the bride wanted it. So that's the only, weird things that we get. And kabhi karna padta hai wo.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now, we are in COVID-19 situation, and big fat Indian weddings are going to be a challenge, at least for some time now. Yeah. And what do you see as a wedding photographer scenario, your life as a professional life, beyond COVID-19 when things open up? They've already started opening up in certain cities, and I believe that some weddings are also happening, and some photographers are shooting them as well. But with very thin the number of guests, and obviously the money also goes down. So how do you see it happening and unfolding, and how prepared are you to tackle that?
So Jasiji, there is no honestly I cannot predict what is going to happen. हमने बहुत 3 महीने से, we've been having a lot of webinars, we have been talking to a lot of people, we have been predicting a lot of stuff. Things will be fine in June, we'll start getting bookings in June. None of that is happening. We are getting inquiries. We are in advanced talks with a lot of people. But most of the bigger weddings and most of the, like I said, the industrial MNC families, they are very skeptical that they will be able to host a big wedding. We had about 4 or 5 big weddings already booked for the season, which all have been put on hold without a date or without an expected date, because our clients do not want to have a half-hearted wedding. So our clientele is such that they will not have a small wedding. Like we specialize in big destination weddings. So it is like big weddings are not happening, destination is not happening, or India ke bahar to bilkul hi nahi ho raha. So 3 ways we are like really stuck into what to do. The fourth genre that we cater to are the the young adults, the young entrepreneurs who host their own weddings, who have like small weddings, like 30-40 people weddings. Even the wedding that I'd shown you, the one that I spoke about, the California wedding, that was also about 50 guests. So we do our 10 to 20% of our business comes through small intimate weddings. So yes, those weddings are happening, but not right now. Right now, most of the weddings that are happening are the desperate weddings. People who wanted to get married during a particular time because of certain family pressures. Yes, they are going to get married, and then they are not going to think about who is the main photographer. They'll be like, yeah, just get somebody in the budget. It's just a 50 people wedding. Let's just cut down on the cost. When things normalize, we will hire a person properly to do the proper events, like a big reception, a big cocktail party. Some of our clients are already planning to have like a registered marriage kind of a scenario, and then have a 3 or 4 day hosted wedding party, as they're calling it, with 400-500 guests, fly them to Dubai and have like a mehendi and a sangeet and a reception and cocktail. Sirf shadi nahi hogi. So right now it is all very bleak. Business wise, of course, small weddings are happening, but not the kind of weddings that we cater to. So honestly, I think maybe by October or November, things will start to look a little brighter. But at the moment, I think it's more of mass weddings which are happening, more of production style weddings, which just need a typical photographer to capture the event rather than any creativity.
Yeah, that's I think what you said is right, and we have no time frame in mind, because what we initially had is already past that, and we don't know now when, and probably it's very difficult to even be prepared for those situations. So
yeah,
right. There was a question that made me smile, and so then I'm going to ask that. That is by Monica, but you are free to answer it in your own way. Is that how much people spend on wedding photography? So are you immensely expensive?
Yeah, I mean, we are fairly expensive, I would say. I mean, I probably would not hire myself.
That's the right way to. That's the best way to answer.
If I have to pay for my own services, I think I would not be able to. But yeah, because most of the weddings that we do come from a certain background, from a certain clientele, which is comfortable having a team of 14, 18 people sometimes, 6, 7, 8 photographers, 5, 6 videographers, a full production squad, somebody to do audio separately, drone guys. So we have a huge team which goes for weddings. So we charge accordingly. But when we shoot really small, intimate weddings, our charges are very reasonable. So it all depends on what kind of a wedding you're having. If you're having a 1,000 guest wedding, you cannot expect from me a small intimate wedding package. So I think, yeah, it's also subjective, but I would say we are slightly on the higher budget side.
I think that's I think all this money and how much you charge is very, very relative and subject to what the services that you are providing. That's right. And I think it all boils down to, if the client is ready to pay, why not? Number one. And obviously, it's not about fleecing them with the money or the charges. It's about the kind of services that you want to provide. And if they are expensive, the services itself, then obviously the charges will go up. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So nothing to be defensive about, because we all are into our businesses.
Totally.
We have a different variety of clients, and it's perfectly all right.
Yeah, I think when newcomers say, how do we package our photography business? I think the first variable in that is your experience. If you have 1 year of experience, and if you are like, my work is better than somebody who has 5 years of experience, so I'll start charging more than him. That is not how it works. you have to slowly reach 5 years, then still have better photography than that other person. And then you can easily say, the person with 5 years of experience has work which is not as good as me, so I can charge more. Then people will be happy to pay. So it's all too many variables.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so I think I had a lot of questions, but I think we have already run out of time, so I won't touch it further. And so thank you, Ramit. It's been such an amazing session. Believe me, I'm not a wedding photographer, but wedding as a genre is very, very close to me. I enjoy talking to my friends who are wedding photographers, including you, and have been associated with wedding photographers. And I continue to talk with a lot of interest about how each individual is handling his own business of wedding photography, and how everybody talks about being a candid photographer, but how their candid photography is so varied, so different from individual. Everybody has their own signature style. Even if you don't put the watermark, I think I should be able to figure out, looking at your images and looking at images shot by my other wedding photographer friends, that this is shot by Ramit and this is shot by Arjun Kartan also. So that is something amazing, and that keeps me hooked on to this genre. And I think that is why I started this talk series with wedding photographers. So, and I'm so delighted that we had this session today, and hope you enjoyed as well.
I had an amazing time, and thank you so much, Jesse ji. It's, I think, great connecting with you after so many years.
Yeah.
Officially, unofficially, we've been chatting always.
Yeah.
But I think this is one of the big, things that have come from the COVID-19 that has brought a lot of us in the industry together. पहले दूर दूर से बात होती थी, अब it's more close, and I think we can continue being like this. We'll be together, and we'll continue these kind of talks. And thank you so much for having me here. It was a pleasure.
It was indeed a pleasure even for us, and hope to stay connected and hope to continue getting inspired, and wishing you all the best during these difficult times and beyond COVID-19 as well. I'm sure better pastures and greener pastures are waiting for all of us here, and I think we all will come out much better on the other side.
For sure, for sure. Thank you so much, Jesse.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, bye. Take care.
Bye. Good night. Bye.